minutes past the hour. This is Good Morning Kenya. Welcome. My name is Mike. May we look at something different, and that regards the air quality, especially within Nairobi, and how data and regulation is impacting that, because air quality management is gravitating towards a combination of high-density real-time data monitoring as well as regulations to ensure that the standards of air within the country meet the health-based standards. Because in 2019, air pollution within Nairobi, the index was indicating that it was four times higher than the recommended levels by the World Health Organization. And last year in 2025, those challenges were still there, because Nairobi faced air quality challenges, and it was indicated as to be among the 10 most polluted cities in the world. That was in August of last year. So that is what we are going to look at: air quality through data and regulation within the capital. And for that conversation in studio, I'm joined by Victor Muthike, who is an air quality specialist, also from Air Quality Systems East Africa. Welcome to Good Morning Kenya.
Thank you.
And also Jacob Olonde, who is the Executive Director, Environmental Capacities and Sustainabilities Institute. Karibu sana.
Thank you so much.
Now, let's get into it. And now that we are gravitating towards a combination of high density, real-time data monitoring, the first question that comes to mind, and I'll start with you, Victor, is what is the role of air quality data in all this?
So, in the past 5 years, Nairobi has come a long way, in the sense that from a regulation point of view, and also from an infrastructure point of view,
yes.
The county, together with her partners, have set up a network of air quality monitors,
yes,
together with other things like policies and the air quality regulations 2022 and the action plan 2025 to 2029. So the role of data is to help government make informed policies and to help in execution of those policies. Yeah.
Jacob, how would you say, now that we are using, gravitating towards that route, how would you say it has impacted air quality monitoring? Especially given that now Nairobi grapples with the aspect of air pollution, especially from motorists, which contributes to around 40% of the pollution that you're talking about.
Yeah, so thank you so much. The first question is, what are we talking about in terms of air quality? We are talking about fine matter, that's PM 2.5 and
yes.
PM 10. We are talking about black carbon. We are talking about other gases like nitrogen dioxide, sulfur dioxide. We are talking about carbon dioxide and the rest. So mostly what we are monitoring in Nairobi is PM 2.5 and PM 10.
Yes.
But we realize that with the data, the impact is already being seen, because in how county government and national government is using the data to inform policy decisions. And we have seen it in various ways. One is decisions on traffic management, mobility management within the city, setting aside some zoning, helping in zoning of the city, where to set up industries, high emission industries, and also helped in traffic management, like we have seen, is it Ludhuli Avenue, where through the UN Habitat work, we have seen non-motorized pavements coming up within the city. We have also seen the air quality systems has established traffic air emission monitoring at Tomboya. And we also have another location in Mama Lucy Kibaki. So all these data are now helping the county to generate not just policy and legislative frameworks, but also having budgetary allocation, because previously the county has been spending almost 10% of its health budget towards treating air pollution-related diseases. So those are some of the ways through which we have seen the county integrating air quality data in decision making.
Yes. Yeah. Now, Victor, how is this data collected, monitored, and validated?
Thank you for that very nice question. This data is collected using a myriad of different devices. And of these devices, they have different capabilities and different scopes. So from the lowest, not the lowest per se, but the most basic type of monitors are called passive samplers, which are in essence diffusion tubes. They use the simple framework of diffusion. So a gas moves from a region of low concentration to a region of high concentration, that sort of thing. And then this sampler is taken to the lab and analyzed, and an average concentration of that particular gas is determined. So that is one of the ways. And they are deployed in fairly close concentrations per se. And what they do is they just give an average or a baseline of concentration of different pollutants. So that's number one. The other one are called low-cost sensors. And low-cost sensors are electric, and they are real-time. They collect real-time data. So, for instance, what we have deployed for the city as at right now, and these ones are better because they are real-time, and they are able to give alerts and that sort of information. And then moving from that, there is now the more high-end type. They still use the same principle, but have better quality data and higher spatial coverage. So where you would need to, say, install one low-cost sensor, 5 low-cost sensors to cover that sort of spatial resolution. For these ones, they're called medium-cost sensors. And they're not so medium cost per se, because they are a bit pricey, but they are good. And they measure a myriad of different parameters also. So from what Jake said, not just PM 2.5 and 10, and also the atmospherics, but they also do now the gases, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, ozone, volatile organic compounds, all those, methane, etc., etc. Now, depending on whatever configuration you would want them to, do the sampling. And then now for the most pricey and higher grade sort of monitors, they are called reference grade stations. Also reiterating from what Jake said, we have several actually around Nairobi, and they are used as reference stations, as they are called. And we have several, like in Nairobi we have like 7, but they are owned by different factions and operated by different organizations. So like the one in Fire Station, you have another one in Mama Lucy, one in UNEP, another one at the US Embassy, another one at Strathmore, and I think there's one in UNEP.
Yeah, UNEP.
Yeah. So for these ones, they set the baseline, like whatever it says is whatever is taken as the true concentration of that particular parameter. So for larger networks, what you use to validate this data is you use the reference grid stations to calibrate the low-cost sensors. And let me give you an example.
Yes.
Yeah? So let's say, for instance, you have an analog watch, and I hope I don't deviate, but there's an analog watch,
Yes.
and let's say like the phone or a digital clock. So for the digital clock, it is harmonized globally, right? So whatever time my phone says is whatever time your phone will say, right?
Yes.
But for an analog clock, over time, it loses seconds. And in 1 week, 2 weeks, probably 1 year down the line, you'll find that we are not on the same page. So we use that that same principle to calibrate the low-cost sensors so that they give reliable and accurate data. Yes.
Jacob, when we talk about these sensors and how they are placed within the city, what determines the area that these sensors are going to be placed? How are the areas chosen? What is the determinant?
First, the determinant, the decisions are made on first first I mentioned the zoning, because already there are some established areas like industrial areas. There's also the issue of population, where because one thing in policy making and legislative making is the concept of polluter pays.
Yes.
So that we must be able to put the burden on the person polluting. So that's why our focus is mainly industrial. Another thing is the issue of thematic areas. Which sector leads in emissions? So we have transport sector, we have agriculture, we have, like in Nairobi, we have agriculture waste, industrial, and also we have household, most of in low-income estates, residential areas. So those are some of the decisions. Another thing is also we call it cost. He has mentioned it. Sometimes we want to have everywhere in Nairobi covered, but as Victor has mentioned, some of these tools are costly, because already I think we are at 50 sensors.
Yeah, city-owned.
Yeah, city-owned. Yet we have a need for around 85 or 86 per se. 87. And again, 17 constituencies. So we have 17 constituencies. We need to cover 87. So that gap already determines where do we locate. So we need to prioritize based on need.
Yeah.
But again, every area in Nairobi is important. So it's just a matter of financing, availability of adequate finance to help acquire more sensors. Another area we can call it the need for data. We have universities, as Victor has mentioned, we have UNEP. So they will want to, people in UNEP will want to know real-time data from their reliable source. So already we have data disintegration. There are data piled everywhere, which again, it's not about trust. I don't know whether it's trust between partners, because everybody wants to trust their own data. But I think there are already calls for integration to help in with the calibration, so that once UNEP says this is it, then the iLab in Strathmore could also be able to confirm the same, and the same data sensor at Mama Lucy could also collaborate the same.
Yeah, and that would be very important, because also UNEP is the United Nations Environmental Program.
Yeah.
That could be very important when it comes to harmonization of data, so that we can have one data that is reliable. Now, Victor, you look at the action plan within Nairobi. It's focusing or relying on gravitating towards real-time monitoring and, a city-owned data system. So my question is, why does that make data ownership a big deal, especially when it comes to governance of air quality within the city?
within the framework of policy and regulation.
Yes.
As per the 2010 Constitution, you'll see that air quality, I think environmental management is a devolved function, right? Yeah. So for that matter alone, then by constitutional right, the city is allowed, the city is mandated to, do enforcement and management of pollution within its territory. But you'll find that this has not been it, because number one, the city did not have capacity. But like I said, the past 5 years, 7 to 5 years, have been very pivotal in moving the city towards that direction of now owning that thing that they have been mandated by the Constitution. Yeah. So the action plan helps the city. It's like a roadmap to helping the city be self-sufficient in air quality management and matters enforcement and such like things.
Yes, Jacob, that is very important. That's a very important point, because it also now also touches on decision making, which now begs this question: at what point does this data now morph from just being information and become a decision-making tools? And where do you think a city like Nairobi may struggle in making that transition?
Yeah, so thank you so much. As Victor said, when we talk about capacity, we are talking about data capacity. We are talking about human resource, we are talking about financial capacity, we are talking about policy capacity.
Yes.
But when we read Schedule 4 of the Constitution, it mandates the national government to provide capacity support, yes, to help counties transition their roles and mandates. Yes. So already, as Victor has mentioned, initially it was just NEMA doing this, having this responsibility. Yes. But now with the counties, and one thing that I've always liked when I worked for counties, for COG, was that we were being told counties don't have the capacity. So when we want, guys are demanding for this responsibility, for this mandate, you will mess up. But over time, we have seen now with the legislations in Nairobi City County, having the legislations, having the regulations, having the policies in place, having partners like Breathe Cities, having research institutions coming up to support the work. So we already seen the call for not just the call, but an prioritization in terms of resource allocation. Yes. We have seen issues of enhanced compliance. So it's no longer hard compliance, where you are arrested for emission pollution, but about assisted compliance. So because there's air quality monitored systems. So you are being told this last week you are at 50, this week you are at 40. So you are progressing. So it's not about somebody coming to close your industry. Because you are polluting. I
think what is on the screen is one of the sensors that is used in monitoring air quality.
Yes.
So what is that device?
So it is what I had previously tried to sort of explain. Yes. In the sense that we have the low-cost sensors, not the low-cost sensors per se, but the passive samplers, which are so-called spies of air quality. Yes. And then the small gadget that was seen, that is actually a reference station, but it is for indoor air pollution, and with special enclosure, then it turns out, it becomes a sort of an indicative station for PM 2.5, and also there is also a low-cost sensor there. Yeah.
Oh, very interesting. Very interesting. And Jacob, what would you say are the impediments to integrating data into how air pollution and air quality is governed?
First is what we call low awareness. Air quality data is scientific, but impacts are also largely scientific.
Yes.
Because air pollution kills you slowly.
Yeah.
So somebody will say, I don't care. As long as I'm paying rent cheap, I don't care what happens. But over time, somebody dies. So low awareness, most people don't know how air pollution affects them at personal level. Number two, that also calls for, once you are aware, then you can hold county government and national government duty holders responsible and accountable. You can demand for services. You can demand for action. So low awareness. Number two is the issue of lack of monitoring at hotspots. So already we have hotspots, like I mentioned, the issues of slums. We have issues of illegal burning. I usually say issues around Mukuru, Donholm.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you pass there, you see heavy smoke in the evening. So that costs more damage. But again, it's about enforcement. So enforcement has been impacted largely by lack of policy and action. But now, through goodwill, I think Governor Sakaja has been in this for the longest, and the Nairobi City County fraternity has owned up interventions. So already, initially, we might have said lack of goodwill, but already we have seen it. The county is in it. Another issue is the data accuracy and calibration. I think that's all been touched with by Victor.
Yeah.
Then siloed data. The University of Nairobi Geo Health, I think there is not yet a centralized data platform where you can run to and say, I want data for Nairobi,
so it's
and
fragmented.
you get it. So everybody, there's fragmentation of data, which makes somehow decision-making difficult. Most of when you are in the policy setup and you want to draft a policy, there are always those arguments of, should we go with this or should we go with this? But already with the integrated data system for the Nairobi City County, that I think will be solved. Then lack of long-term data. Most of the data available are short-term. We are just told today, 2 weeks.
Yes.
And now stretching that to tell you what will happen in 5-10 years is still an issue. Then finally, I think there is lack of sustained maintenance and cost and training, which drives to capacity, what Victor said. But I think the city already having staff dedicated to air quality monitoring as part of the environmental ward level sub-county environment officers.
Yeah.
So I think one of their responsibilities is also air quality monitoring and not just monitoring, but also compliance and enforcement. So I think that will help manage those gaps.
Victor, when you look at how waste is managed within the city, would you say is it lack of policy or goodwill in as far as waste management is concerned? Because it is one of the pollutants that we are talking about when it comes to air quality within the city.
Yeah, open waste burning contributes to approximately 25% of the pollution that is experienced in Nairobi. And it is a complex issue, so to say, spiraling from a policy deadlocks. Yeah. Also, the fact that there was also poor zoning and lack of enforcement for the open waste burners. And for this particular issue, it is a policy, it needs a policy answer, because policy is king. And I can give you an example on the same, on the waste management bit.
Yeah.
If you can remember back in 2017, there was, we were still using plastic paper bags, right? Yes. And then one day after NEMA did their thing and they consulted with the right people, and also within their own circles. And a gazette notice was issued, and people were given 90 days to transition.
Yes.
And 1 year down the line, the use of plastic bags was almost completely eradicated.
Yeah.
And we transitioned to now the biodegradable paper bags that we use currently. And that just shows how policy is king, so to say. And most of the issues that we are facing, especially matters, pollution and environmental management, just need a little nudge from the policy side. Yeah, so...
Is it the policy side, or there's an aspect of enforcement that needs to be nudged, as he's putting it?
I think you cannot enforce without goodwill. That's the struggle most of the government officers struggle with. That's the reality. Because everything you do is somehow political. Politics is embedded in almost all spheres of our life in Kenya. I usually say this, that there's a time I worked for Nairobi City County when I was in first year. And I was responsible for Embakasi waste management, waste collections. I moved around Dandora, everywhere, the large Embakasi district. And I can tell you that when people talk about everything else, I usually say it is management of waste in Nairobi is a multi-stakeholder thing.
Okay, hold that thought. Hold that thought. We are going to take a short break, and you'll come back to that point of a multi-stakeholder thing, that approach that needs to be used in this approach. So we take a short break. We'll be right back with this conversation. Welcome back to Good Morning Kenya. This is KBC Channel 1, and we are talking about air quality through data and regulation in the capital. And Jacob, you're talking about a multi-stakeholder approach to this matter. Continue on that point.
Yeah, so thank you once again. As I was mentioning, the waste management issue in Nairobi is a multi-stakeholder issue. In that, when I work, there are players who do not even understand what policy is. So it's about interests vis-a-vis policy. In that there is a waste generator, you, in your house. You eat, you put your waste in the plastic bag, and then you take it to the dustbin, or you put it outside your door. Somebody will come for it. There's somebody who comes for it, who puts it at the sub-collection center within the estate. There's the Mkokoteni guy who comes and collects it from your house, transports it there. There's a vehicle owner, waste manager, who will come with this vehicle, lorry, to transport this waste to Dandora. There's a guy who picks this waste from the site, throw it into the car, into the lorry, transport it to Dandora. On the way, they are sorting the waste already. The sorting is processed on. Reaching Dandora, there is somebody who manages the site. This person is also a shareholder. Then once you dump it, there are waste sorters again. So then there's the land ownership issue. So that's why we are saying that you can generate very nice policies. But if you lack goodwill, and if you don't bring all stakeholders to the table and make them understand based on data now, that actually now it is very interesting. There is a site the Nairobi City County already developed, I think, where you can have real data. You can prick and say, Madare, show me Madare, show me Langata. So this is what already will be helping. When we meet these stakeholders, we show them, guys, yes, you are looking at money, you have interest in this, but this is how the waste you guys are mismanaging is impacting the lives of Nairobians. So that's why I'm saying that as much as we policymakers, we generate very nice policies, we recommend very nice implementation frameworks, but without bringing all the stakeholders to the table, and not just bringing them, but making them understand their contribution we might miss the target. So I'm calling for integrated approaches in terms of data integration and bringing all the stakeholders to the table.
And more importantly, the goodwill.
The goodwill.
To implement
the
policies.
Political goodwill. So there are votes and there are lives and there are stakeholders.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which also, Victor, brings about the aspect of balancing the environmental protection and economic activity. How is that achieved?
Let me give you an example.
Yes.
Let's take a random street in Nairobi, a busy street, let's say like Tomboya or Moi, and we have traffic officers and traffic marshals from the county, and we have all these, we have traders, we have the touts, everybody within the matatu industry.
Yes.
And also the roadside traders along the same routes, right? So take all these people who are heavily reliant on how busy or not the street is, and look at it from now a health perspective.
Yes.
You come to the CBD daily for say 10 years. You're exposed to all these pollutants, black carbon, carbon monoxide, especially near roadsides, carbon monoxide, CO2, PM2.5, all these things for that specific period of time. And the health effects of these pollutants outweighs whatever it is you are doing there. Because at the end of the day, your health is affected, and PM2.5 along with all these other pollutants are directly linked to cardiovascular and pulmonary infections and diseases, and also like Jake and also I think yourself mentioned, a good chunk of the national and the county budget is allocated to, I think 10% is allocated to respiratory issues.
Yes.
And if implementation and proper policy follow through is done, then these monies will be redirected elsewhere for betterment of the lives and quality of lives of Nairobians and Kenyans in general. Yeah.
Jacob, you know, Nairobi is not the only city in the world. We have more developed cities, and such efforts of ensuring that the air quality meets the World Health Organization standards is done. What would you say are the lessons that a city like Nairobi can derive from such cities?
One is goodwill first. Once the political leaders align with the reality on the ground, will help with the enforcement. And also, number two is what we call targeted compliance. With the data, you can be able now to say industry A needs to comply. So we avoid blanket compliance. We call it hard compliance, where you go close. So as much as we want clean air, we must transition justly. So justly call for workers' rights. A worker should not fall sick because of pollution. And workers here, we are talking about the Juakali, we talk about office workers, we are talking about government employees. Number two is what we call the role of public data portal.
Yeah.
Once data is accessible to everyone, decision making will be easy. Then we call data-informed, evidence-based decision making. So evidence-based decision making, as Victor has mentioned, Nairobi City County needs around 192 million USD between 2023 and 2050 to address air quality-related illnesses. Now, other countries, they have the budgetary allocation. But other countries, they have public awareness. Information is everywhere, and there's public compliance. Public compliance is that yourself, how do you manage your waste? There are these guys who just throw things off the windows of moving vehicles, thinking that once it rolls, then it will disappear. It's the same thing that will find itself in Dandora, and it will be banned by the waste pickers, and then it will come back to affect you. So in terms of targeted and enhanced compliance, what the lessons we pick is there's need for adoption of clean energy, that we need to zero rate clean energy, clean cooking, I don't know how to call them, technologies.
Yes.
So that the people who are still using paraffin, still using charcoal, should be able to transit into more clean sources. Number two is the issue of waste management. I think we have talked about that. Sustainable transportation. We just launched our e-mobility policy yesterday, and we are targeting 40%, because transport sector is doing 40% emissions, yes. It's the leading emitter. So with the e-mobility policy, I think we'll be able to reduce on that. Issues of awareness, advocacy. We need targeted advocacy and use community-based advocacy. We have a partner called Kikaka, which is doing very good using art to disseminate air quality related information. We have gender integration. We have partners like Groots Kenya, who is also doing very good with women and air quality. We have citizen science. Citizen science is where citizens are used for validating data. First, they could be able to help in generating, but also validating data, in that because they have lived experiences. So what works in other countries is that citizens themselves should be able to report and hold governments to account. So use of citizen data, and also we call it ground truthing. When you say there is increased emissions in Mukuru, what do you mean as a researcher at the University of Nairobi? So it's a matter of going to the ground and listening to the people themselves, how the poor quality air is impacting their lives. So based on those experiences, I think we'll be able to address the issues of legal reporting of legal activities. Because what happens when you see a burning site? Because what we avoid is generating policies which adds burden, financial burden to industries. Because when you say we are going to increase cost of permitting, we are going to increase cost of licensing, we are going to increase cost of, to increase fees. Once you do that, then the cost of commodities will rise, and you will no longer enable the poor in the city to access some commodities. So best practice is that we have targeted compliance, but again ensure that we protect the vulnerable. The vulnerable here, we have children, we have the old, we have the sick, and we even have men
and expectant mothers.
And expectant mothers. Yeah. So protecting the vulnerable is a responsibility not just for government, but for every citizen in the city.
Which actually that brings me to the next question, because we have looked at the efforts of like what the county is doing. But then again, Victor, from your perspective, in as far as air quality is concerned, the role of city residents in ensuring that also they are playing a part in ensuring that their breathing is quality.
Now, Mike, that's an interesting question. And also as a citizen of this great city, I think it boils down to the fact that air is invisible. And unlike other waste management or other types of waste like water and especially water, you cannot drink colored water. Huwezi kunywa maji chafu ukiona. But for air and air quality in that line, most of the most dangerous pollutants are not as smelly. So it's not just the air that makes you choke that is harmful to you. So it is up to us as Nairobians and as citizens, and up to the city also, to increase efforts in sensitization of the public, so that everybody understands what the true health risk is. Because if you don't, and Jacob will tell you, once you get into this space, air quality is very, how do I put it, radicalizing.
Yes.
In the sense that now once you get to really understand what goes down when you breathe certain substances, then something in your mind changes, and that is what we need to do to the larger public, to make them understand that if you do this is what you expect. If you do this is what you expect. Yeah, that will be my take.
How would you say, so far with the efforts that have been done, how do you rate the public awareness in terms of matters to do with this data and air quality?
So far, with the efforts that the partners that we have a lot of effort and a lot of money has been pumped into public awareness. And I think within, say, the last 5 years, I think we have changed, and we have seen a lot of action. Even the president, I think 2 years ago, hosted the first, I think, African climate forum, and that was a big deal, and that opened many other forums from global partners like the Clean Air Fund, Breathe Cities, C40 Cities, Bloomberg Philanthropies, and all these other players. And I think public awareness right now is better than it was 5 years ago. I can't quantify how much, but I think we are in the right direction.
We have made steps.
Yes.
Okay. Jacob, two things. Public visibility of pollution data, can that change behavior of people towards matters to do with air pollution? And also, how should a capital city like Nairobi now design data platforms so that they inform the public rather than alarm them?
Yeah, I think we have moved from alarms to sensitization, where you are told if you don't do this, 5,000 are going to die. But data don't lie, because already we are aware that we lose 2,500 to 8,000 lives annually as a result of pollution. Let me use that, air-related poor air quality.
Yes.
So with that information, that's not alarming. That's truth. That's a fact. So how do we now integrate this fact in creating awareness? And not just that, but with awareness now we could be able to do things like zoning. The Nairobi City County is working on air quality regulation, which will be able to help issues with zoning, issues to do with the transboundary air quality control, because sometimes the pollution is in Kajiado, but the wind blows this direction and brings it to Nairobi. Other issues we are also going to deal with is the issue of enforcement by county. So giving the county officers more power to enforce, and not just enforce, but to mainstream compliance among the polluters. So for me, I will say that one of the things that will work for us is stakeholder collaboration. We need to ensure that more stakeholders get into the space. Another thing is expanding the network, the sensors, increasing the number of sensors. I think Makerere University has been doing a good job, and iLab and the rest of them. But when it comes to awareness, and we must go local. And I think there's a study which was done by our partner Kusudi,
Yes.
Kusudi Communications, which really brought, they had a very nice presentation where community members, speaking to community members, and they are sharing their lived experiences, saying before this action was taken, this is what was happening. Because of this, because of the county's intervention, we have already started seeing children are no longer getting sick. We are no longer just becoming sick frequently. So with that kind of information, then the county could be able to know what kind of intervention to employ. And I think also we have already the county action plan, which I think we have talked about, seeking to do 51% reduction by 2035 or 45 something. So with those policy frameworks, the policies there, we have the Act is still there in 2020, the Act 2022, and the portal and the systems. So I think the county is ready to ensure that people know what they need to know. And I think it's the responsibility of the public to go for information, to seek for information, because the information, as we used to say, there's issues with the accessibility. Now on your phone, you can be able to know whether when you leave your house, is it going to rain in town? You don't wait for KMD. And we thought that's where we want to reach with the air quality, that we should be able to monitor air quality using our phones and get real-time data and make decisions based on how the decision will be. So that when I know Tomboya will be at peak at this particular time of the
during rush hour.
During rush hour. I don't need to go that side of the town at that particular time. When I know that I have a respiratory terminal or some complication, I don't need to stay in some estates. So upon the county through zoning, I don't know how it will be, but I think I was thinking of it that setting aside some estates free from pollution, where the elderly and children with terminal illnesses could move towards and say, so that it's not about income-based choices, where you live at a place based on how much you earn, but it should be how much vulnerable, based on vulnerability. If you are vulnerable, then the county should be able to help you make decisions on where to stay within the city based on information and based on zoning.
Also, I think maybe just to weigh in on Jacob's point on that.
Yes.
For instance, like Langata. Langata is upwind, and it's a residential area, but the figures there are for a place like Mlolongo, where it is heavily industrialized, but the residents of Langata are disproportionately affected because of upwind pollution from areas like Mlolongo and Athi River. Yeah.
So finally, now we are using data to monitor levels of pollution. But then again, when you look at accountability, and I'm taking this as your closing remarks, if data shows persistent air pollution, who should be held accountable? Is it the regulator, the polluters, or even the political leaders, or the three of that cohort? Let me start with you.
I think, as I mentioned, we can talk about goodwill, we can talk about, but you cannot police the citizens. You cannot just employ enough policemen or county officers to deal with issues to do with air quality. It must be top-down. Top-down in terms of goodwill, but bottom-up in terms of response. So it is the responsibility of the citizens to demand, but not just demand, but also contribute towards realizing the aspirations of the clean air. Because the partners can bring as much financing as possible. The counties can employ as many officers as possible. But if we ourselves, the citizens, if somebody still feels that the chuma in a tire is valuable, that he must burn the tire, he must go around the city collecting old tires to go and burn so that he can get the wires. Then now that's where we start. What alternatives do we have for this person so that he can transition from the business as usual, the business he knows, to more moderate and cleaner income source, so that we don't just say shift, transition, achana na hii kazi, tafuta ingine. Yet that's what he has been born knowing. So how do we create more opportunities for people in such income generating opportunities to more greener? Another area that I will be able to talk about is that when it comes to policy, then let's localize our policies. Think globally, act locally. Air quality is local, yes. Air quality is personal.
Very much, very much, very much true. Victor, like the question I asked, who should be held accountable? The regulators, pollutants, or the political leaders?
So the law provides for, I think it is, again, it is a multi-stakeholder thing. And all these players have different roles within that framework. Yes. And it is the role of the regulator to ensure that producers and manufacturers are compliant and do not exceed. And it is also the role of the manufacturers and producers and the polluters, so to say, that they are not they are not polluting. And it is the role of the citizens, the normal mwananchi, the common mwananchi like myself and myself, to ensure that we report these things. We take personal responsibility for our own actions. We transition from fossil fuels to cleaner fuels that do not harm our health.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed. All right. That is Jacob Olonde, who is the Executive Director, Environmental Capacities and Sustainability Institute, and also Victor Muthike, who is an air quality specialist from Air Quality Systems East Africa, speaking to us about matters to do with air quality through data and regulation within the capital. This conversation ends here. My name is Mike Megwe. Thank you for tuning in to Good Morning Kenya. Vivian Ndegwa is up next with Women at the Forefront.